and the other one, let's make peace with the planet we live on. Today we are faced with several major global challenges which no single country can solve alone. Climate change and the economic crisis do not recognize national borders. So, for the only way the world can tackle them is by working together. And this is from the President of the European Parliament. And working together now, we're talking about desert heat. Actually, the whole world system has to change. The people of the globe has to work as one group. And this project, and I'd like very, very much to debate it with experts, will narrow the gaps between the rich and the poor and then bridge them, and will seal social cracks and probably will spread peace and love among the world. It's going to be a new world system different from the carbon era. It's going to be a reincarnation of the world. And like I said, energy, we are here because of the energy that we have. So energy is the driver. And this one, the same statements here, is from the Minister of Environment of Chile. The great ethics cause of humanity in this century, it's urgent to pursue the necessary. So you see the science of urgency here is disastrous, the new normal. So disasters are a new normal, and that's really scaring. And that's from John Holmes, and he is from the Humanitarian Affairs and Emergency Relief Coordinator in the United Nations, Undersecretary of the United Nations. Energy realities, 1.6 billion still of people still have no access to electricity. And with desert heat, electricity will be provided at very low cost and will reach every home. And now essential steps to Copenhagen Agreement. And here you can see that there's urgency here that Copenhagen must take a drastic step and a drastic decision and probably redraw the road to the carbon dioxide issues. And the statements, they're all express urgency and decisiveness and taking a quick and urgent action. Now, desert heat collection and conversion into electricity, and that's energy. This is, by the way, from the CNN. They say here it's energy without mess. No fuel to dig out of the ground, transport or dispose of, no smog, no scarred landscape of open pit mining. The sun rises every day and is not subject to embargoes, geopolitics.
Excuse me, Mr. El Arbash. I just want to alert you that we have 5 minutes at most, so okay, please focus on the most important message if you can.
Okay,
thank you.
I'll try to go quick. I'll skip this. Unfortunately, this is the massive reservoir, and we're talking about 350 watts per meter square. And our calculations are done on 300 watts, and this can supply 1,080% of the global energy needs at zero carbon emissions. This is the reservoir already talked about, and these are the connections to the world. And these are the plants actually, and each plant is about 10,000 square meters. That's 100 by 100, and each plant's capacity is 300 gigawatt. And these are now, we have around over 600 plants, and the world right now, they need 55 only. And this is actually the map here, and says this is the grids that would be made to distribute the energy from this area here. And each plant will need 1 billion turbo generators, 70 million hectares of transparencies, and supporting construction. So this is a plant, a prototype that was made in Spain, and it proved to be operational and working. And there is another one under construction, I think, in Australia. This is the desert that we're talking about. So you see the difference between here and here. This here, the temperature reaches about 90 degrees, and that means that's a lot of energy to be collected. this is the kind of plant and mechanisms that we're talking about. This is 100 by 100 kilometers, and the air comes in and then speeds up and then goes there, and the turbo generators will go in circles around this focal area here. This is technical details about the plant. And this is here, it's being in the center of the landmass of the globe, and actually, and therefore transmission, it's a strategic location where energy security can be secured to go to all the world, and we have highly redundant systems that will deliver the complete needs of energy to everybody. Now, energy will be enough and low cost that seawater desalination will be highly cheap, and that using it for agriculture and growing food will be viable, and that will solve the problem of food supplies. And here we can, at the same time, the desert is very rich with high purity silica, and then these are other spin-out projects that can be made where they can make semiconductors and computer chips and high-quality glass. And there'll be research and development to convert the electricity into a laser, and then laser power, and then laser energy, and then beam it up to a space platform, and then reflect it down to the remote areas. That's a research here. There is another research program that will be conducted to make synthesized photosynthesis to reduce the huge reserves of carbon dioxide left by the legacy of the carbon era, where you can convert carbon into food and release CO2. Release oxygen. And this is actually the action plan. And if I can have 5 minutes on this one.
Can we squeeze it into 2 minutes? Okay. If we can.
I'll try to make it in 2 minutes. Here we're trying. What I'm saying, this is actually the action plan that we should take, where we can get to installing the first plant probably by the year 14, and then by year 15 we'll start going down in the numbers of carbon dioxide levels. And if you can see here, this is the standard. The standard, that's what we have here today. And if you go down to this one here, you see it's the same thing, but however it starts going down. By now it's 5, then 4.3, and then 3.5, and then 2.7, and so on, until it gets in 1750 to that, in 70s and 80s to that number. And here, this is the start line actually in 2014, where we'll have our first plant, and then here, where the turning point, these are milestones years. This is the turning point where CO2 topping down, and then from here, from 2019 on, we're going to have a reduction until we get probably, I think I said it here somewhere, that we'll get to 2009, this year here. By 2030, we'll get to 2009 level, and then we'll start going down. And by this year here, the late 70s and the early 80s, probably we'll get to the levels of 1760s and 1750s. And thank you very much for your time. And I wish I had 40 minutes, not 20 minutes.